Hey, so I haven't streamed in a while, and the last time that I streamed, I had only recently switched back to, well, not back to, switched newly to OBS Studio, previously from Streamlabs OBS, previously from old school OBS. So I hadn't spent that much time using OBS Studio before stopping streaming for like the past 6 months. And at the time, I was still using Adobe Audition for trying to make my USB mic not sound like a piece of crap. And it worked pretty well. I did like a whole guide on how to set up Adobe Audition to make your microphone sound like decent, even if you don't have good hardware, such as an external like mixer and compressor and amplifier and like and a not USB mic. But the problem was that A, Audition costs like $10 a month. B, it's really complex. Audition is like way too much if you're just trying to improve the quality of your microphone and live stream that audio from Audition into another application, which requires like an intermediary application that acts as like a throughput to your desktop audio, which then OBS has to capture. And anyway, it was a big mess, and I can't believe I did it. And I also can't believe that I just now today discovered that like OBS Studio, Studio specifically, not the original OBS, although I think maybe Streamlabs OBS also supports it, but it supports VST plugins, which is like the general audio plugins that like every audio application uses. And just a few VST plugins imported into OBS can make your mic sound just as good, if not better, than something like Adobe Audition running separately from OBS. My mic right now currently is using some plugins that I'm gonna walk through on this video, and I barely did any configuration at all. Like I spent like 15 minutes configuring these plugins, and it already sounds better than Audition ever sounded, which I spent hours and hours configuring, and also had all those other complexities that I mentioned a minute ago. So I'm just gonna try to real quick walk through what I did to configure my microphone in OBS Studio, and show you my configurations and everything. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to reaper.fm/REA plugs. Reaper provides their own VST plugins for free. You'll want to use this download link right here. I'll put a link to this page wherever I post this video. If you're using, I downloaded the 64-bit because I'm pretty sure I'm using OBS Studio 64-bit. Yes, I am. I'm not sure if it matters. Probably it does. If you're using OBS Studio 32-bit, you're probably going to want to download the 32-bit plugins. But probably you should just use OBS Studio 64-bit because it's because performance. But once you download those plugins, you just use the defaults, everything. Like, don't bother. It'll install to your program files directly by default, and that's good. That's fine. OBS Studio will pick it up automatically. So once you've done that, you're going to come into OBS Studio, and on your mic auxiliary mixer place thing, words, you'll click on the gear icon. Oh, this is dropping down below my capture. Here, let me bring this up a little bit. Okay. You go to, make this a little more, I can't actually tell if it's capturing or not. You go to filters, And under filters, you'll see I've already got my plugins here. These are my custom names. The real names are not so nice. REAFIR underscore standalone is the name of this specific plugin that I've named VST FIR because I don't know what FIR is short for. But then I've got a gate, which I actually have turned off right now because I don't need it, and I'll show you why. A compressor and an equalizer, which are the main functions that I used in Audition, and the main functions anybody uses if they want to make their microphone sound better. This will still be empty for you at first. If you want to add one, all you got to do is click the plus button. These first four are built into OBS Studio by default. I've tried using them and didn't get much out of them. Your mileage may vary. Maybe I was just stupid and used them wrong. But the VST plugins seem to be like way, way, way better. The Reaper plugins. So you can ignore these. Just click on the VST 2.x plugin. Name it. I'm just gonna name this one test, or at SD apparently is what I'm gonna name it. And once you do that, then you'll actually select the VST plugin you want to use. So the main ones you're going to use are comp standalone, which is the compressor, EQ standalone, which is the equalizer, FIR standalone, which is the thing I'll show you later. I don't actually know what it specifically is, but I know what it does, or one of the functions that it can be used for, which is important. And then the gate, which is the noise gate, which I'm not currently using, or I have disabled rather. And once you pick your plugin, you'll click Open Plugin Interface, and that opens the place where you'll configure that specific plugin. So this is the equalizer. This is the bass settings for it. I'm gonna close this because we're not gonna use this test one. I'll show you my current equalizer. Here's mine. Here is my waveform, my settings that I configured from default. It's pretty typical. Mid scoop, boost lows, boost highs a little bit. Setting what you configure here will vary based on the microphone you're using and how far away from it you are. I'm pretty close to my mic. My mouth is usually just like 2 to 3 inches away from my mic at most. So I didn't need to do any gain boost or anything. Gain boosting is not advisable because it makes you sound blown out. And I'm pretty sure I still have in my Windows settings, my microphone should still be, let me verify. Where's my Yeti? There it is. Properties, levels. Yep. So my Yeti microphone, in Windows settings itself, I still have set to 50, which is the gain. I turn it down halfway, and then I let the VST plugins do the work. This is pretty important. If you leave this set to 100, then it's just going to sound super blown out. So turn that down, let the VST plugins do the work. You're not going to be super loud on stream, but you can compensate by turning down your gain volume, etc., which is what I do. Viewers will have to turn you up higher than a streamer that they may watch that, has actual good audio hardware for like amplification and stuff with their microphone, but like they'll deal with it. It's fine. So I took like 2 passes at this. Originally, I had the lows a little lower and the highs a little higher, and then I recorded and tested and it was shrill sounding. So then I came back in and moved the lows up and moved the highs down, and moved the mids, moved 3 closer to 4. So some of the very, very mid comes up a little bit in this curve here. And that was all I needed to do. Like my second attempt at messing with the equalizer made it sound like perfect, in my opinion. Which is what you're hearing right now. They're perfect enough that I didn't want to screw with it anymore anyway. So these are my equalizer settings. You don't have to touch any of these down here. moving these around, clicking and moving around, which I'm not going to do, adjusts all these values down here. I didn't change anything else in the equalizer. The compressor also really didn't do much here. I adjust, like by default, I think this slider over here is, the threshold slider is set to 0. And what you want to do is move it down so that it's reasonably below your peak talking volume, as you can see mine is, and then reasonably above your not talking volume. So your like background noise level, like the bass level the microphone picks up. So I'll stop talking here and you'll see that. So you can see my slider was reasonably above the, more above the bass level background noise than it is below my talking volume. Just at the where you want it. I don't really know what I'm doing. You maybe, if you know more about compressors, you'll find a better value for this. I didn't really change anything over here, except I set the ratio to 2.5 to 1, which boosts volume a little bit. As far as I know, I think that's how it works. The higher the ratio, I think the more it'll activate the compressor, which mostly has the effect of boosting your loudness. I think, again, I don't know, don't fault me here, but it sounded good. I also boost the wet output mix up to 1.0 from base 00, and I also checked auto makeup. Some of these things I don't really know what to do. I was just basing it off of a YouTube video that I was watching, so if you can think of better things to do, then do them, but this sounds good to me. And then finally, the FIR, which I don't really know what that is, but the way I used it is I used the subtract mode. There's EQ gate, compressor, convolve, whatever that is, and then subtract. I use the subtract mode, and then so you see the yellow line obviously is me talking. The red line you see here, it was my bass background noise. So if you stop talking, you'll see that this third like gray line matches roughly with that red line. So what this is doing is, what you'll do is you'll check subtract and you'll check automatically build noise profile, and you won't talk for about 10 seconds, and then it'll just automatically build this red line profile that is essentially your background noise. And what subtract will do is, once you get done with that, you'll uncheck this box again, and your red line will stick in place, and basically it'll just subtract that background noise from your mic audio, so that you don't actually need to use a noise gate at all. And I recommend not using a noise gate, because noise gates can be finicky and will sometimes cut off the beginning and end of what you're saying, and it's hard to get them to configure well where you can't notice them, and it sounds kind of bad in my opinion if you constantly hear like a microphone turning on or off. Subtract, I think, is a much better solution to trying to cut out background noise. So that's what you do here. That's all you do with this. I'll open the noise gate real quick to show you my settings for the noise gate. Again, I don't recommend using it, but I have it turned off actually, so you won't see it at all. There we go. Turn it back on, and then you'll do the similar thing as you did with compressor. So you'll see what your bass level is without talking, and you'll set the noise gate just above that bass noise. It's the cutoff background noise, and then you'll want to adjust some of these settings maybe, like the pre-open, attack, and hold, based on what you want for your noise gate to when you want it to start and when you want it to stop. But really just use the VST FIR instead of the noise gate. All right, so that's basically it. Your microphone should sound like hot shit after this. And there won't be any delay like there was with Audition. That was the other thing that was really annoying about Audition, is that because of the way it worked, there was essentially like a 1 second delay between whenever you talked and whenever your microphone audio would actually get picked up by OBS. This is virtually no delay at all, which is incredible, coming from having a delay for so long while streaming, which required me to like manually tweak my video delay, my camera delay, to match my audio and my microphone, and it was really annoying and dumb. So none of that crap. I can't tell any delay at all between my mic when I talk and whenever OBS picks it up. Real quick, I'll just disable all of these so you can hear what my microphone sounds like without any of these plugins turned on. I assume this will work. So I'll disable them. And here's my microphone without any of those plugins. I'm assuming. I guess we'll find out after I get done recording this video. But it looks like my levels have changed a little bit down here, so I'm assuming it's working. Let me close this just to be certain. And then, so this is what I sound like without the plugins. Not very good. And then go back into filters again and re-enable them. And then here's my microphone. Yep, it definitely changed because I'm moving up into the yellow levels with the plugins active because it's boosting me a little bit thanks to the compressor. And the EQ makes things sound much more full, and the FIR just removes background noise. And that's pretty much all you need. Cool. All right. Well, bye, I guess.